Hey everybody. So today's topic, we're going to talk about something that's not talked about very much. It's relations between men and women, right? It's going to be sex. And everything we're going to say is going to be based on our first class. If you didn't watch the first class, you're not going to understand anything we're going to say. Okay? So I'm going to try to make it as simple as possible, but everything is based on that. Okay? So there's a thing called, in the rap world, rap, music, they say don't hate the player, hate the game. Okay? And what does that mean? People know a little bit about the biblical story, right, of Adam and Chava, but they don't really know like what's going on in the background. Okay? So there's a player, and there's a game, and there's a hater. Okay? Who's playing the game is Adam and Chava. Okay? They're man and his wife. They're playing the game. They're supposed to be together. Okay? Who's the hater? The hater is the snake. Okay? Now, this is not told. It's told in language that's, let's say, clean, so you don't have negative images. But what happened was, the real story was that Adam and his wife, Chava, were having relations. They were together. And the snake saw this and got jealous. And he wanted Chava. Okay? So he tricked her into eating from the the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And so she could be separated from her husband so he can have her. Okay? That's the whole real story of what's going on. Okay? If we look at the background story of really what's going on, is that if you remember how we talked about how God created the world, okay, that he withdrew into a circle, right? And then he brought down his light. Okay? So the circle would represent the hater. Okay? And the one playing, the player, would be the light coming in. Okay? Anything that stops the light from coming in is called the hater. Okay? So I'm sorry, I'll say it again. The line coming in is the player, and part of the player is it coming into the world, into the circle that we created. Okay? But the hater is anything that stops it. Okay? So, for instance, a man has a relationship with a woman. Okay? Anybody who intercedes that relationship is hating. Okay? The light, God wants to bring down light to the world. Okay? When we do a mitzvah, when we do any commandment, we fix our character traits and all that stuff, we draw down light into the world. Okay? But the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, doesn't want this light to come into the world. So what do? They try to block it. They try to get us to sin. They try to get us to have bad character traits. So they want to block this light from coming in. So what we try to do is we say L'Shem Yechud Kucha Berichu Ushchintei. Remember we said Kucha Berichu is the 6th lower Sfirot, and Shchintei is the last one, is the 7th one. And we're trying to unite them. Okay? Kucha Berichu is like the man in any relationship, and Shchinte is like the woman in a relationship. Okay? Now these are the channels in the world, and when we do a mitzvah, we unite them. It's as if the world is having sex. Okay? And when we do a sin, an avera, we cause them to separate, right? We block that unification. And so we become the hater. Okay? Now the hater is based in the snake. The snake is always the hater. The snake is always the Yetzer Hara. The snake is always going to be anything that blocks you from bringing the light into the world. Now, a man and a woman are these two, Kucha Berichu and Shchintei, the 6th lower Sfirot and the 7th one. That's what they are. Okay? And so any relationship that they're going to have is either going to come close or move apart. Okay? They're in a normal, healthy relationship. The Torah teaches, thank God I'm alive, thank God I can hear you. Okay? The Torah teaches how to bring it together. Okay, the Torah teaches that there's always supposed to be shalom bayit, harmony between a man and his wife. Okay, there's always supposed to be this. Okay, now, so same thing too in relations. When a man is with a woman, there shouldn't be anything blocking it. Okay, there shouldn't be any blocking it. So no birth control. Okay, because it's blocking the unification between the two of them. Okay, that's the prohibition against birth control. That's the prohibition against spilling seed. Okay, because there's supposed to be a unification. And if there isn't, the seed goes somewhere else. It's no good. Okay, this is a little known fact that people don't know, that women also can spill seed. Women have seed in them, and if they do certain things, they will also spill the seed, just like the man. It just doesn't come out in the form that you see in a man coming out. Okay? Now,
but you cannot prevent anything, even if you get in a...
No, you can't prevent. The purpose of the world is not to prevent. Now, the question was asked, why, if God is everywhere, why do we look up to the sky? Okay, when we pray. So, the sky is called Kucha Berichu. The sky is analogous to the 6 Sfirot, and the ground is Shchintei, is considered the woman and the lowest Sfira. What happens is when it rains, there's a unification between the sky and the ground. Okay? The water that comes down is called masculine waters. What we don't see underneath the ground, there's feminine waters coming up to meet it. Okay, the subterranean waters are coming up to meet the rain that's coming down from the ground, and from that vegetation comes and springs out to the world. Rain is considered masculine waters. Like a man has masculine waters, he gives to a woman, right? He gives the seed. So same thing, that's what rain is. Rain is like the man giving seed to the woman. Okay, the sky is the man, the ground is the woman, and when it rains, it's as if they're having a unification. Okay, and from what happens normally from a unification, they're supposed to be fruits and sprouting, things growing. Same thing, when a man is supposed to be a woman, it's supposed to be kids, right? That's the purpose of unification. Now, there could be physical kids, and there could be spiritual kids. Okay, let's say a woman is past her childbearing years, she can't have kids anymore. The unification of her and her husband is still considered a unification, and they draw down souls in the world, and they just happen to go into a different body. Okay?
Really?
So yes, it's still a mitzvah, it's still a commandment to bring them together. Okay? So much so, it says that the day it rains, any day it rains, is bigger than the time when the Torah was given.
When it rains?
When it rains. Okay?
It's in Israel.
Like
Okay.
normal?
Normal rains is bigger than the day when the Torah was given.
Wow.
Why? What does it make sense? Because if we understand the whole world is made for this unification, for the channels to be fixed, and the world to be fixed, and God's light to be revealed in the world, then you understand that when this happens, okay, then that's the highest thing that could happen. That's why people don't understand in the mitzvah of a man and a woman being together is the highest mitzvah. It's very deep, it's very holy. People have come in today's society to abuse it. Okay, with all the different movies that are out there, the looseness of society with it, they've abused the power that we have as souls in this world. Okay, and they really don't understand what it is. So they use it as a form of excitement, a form of fun, a form of entertainment, instead of a form of holiness. Okay? Now, so the channels are supposed to unite and come together, and there shouldn't be any kind of blockage. What happens when a woman menstruates? There can't be that unification. So she has to wait until the blood is clear, and then after that wait 7 days, and then go into a mikveh, right? Purification bath, where she becomes clean again, and then they can come back together. Okay? We have to appreciate that when a couple gets married, right? It's called kiddushin. A man gives a woman usually some kind of compensation. Today we use a ring, and he says, "Re'at mekudeshet li betabadzo." You are now holy unto me. What does that mean, you are holy unto me? That means you are not allowed to be with anybody else in the world. Okay, you are mine and that's it. So
Them too, no?
them too. But we use the word holy, right? That you made us holy through your mitzvot. So the mitzvah is to kadesh a woman, right? So you become holy by that act, okay? But people have gotten into their mind what the Yetzer Hara wants into their mind. The Yetzer Hara came out with all these movies and secularism, and people can have relations without having any marriage. You know, when we grew up, there was a show called Sex in the City.
Yes.
It made being a slut. You know, I'm sorry I'm using that word, being a whore, popular. It's good. It's fine. No, it's totally cool. It's cool to be a whore. It's cool to sleep with a lot of men. You know, when I was growing up, sleeping with a lot of men is not a good term. But HBO made sleeping with a lot of men cool. It's a good thing. It's awesome. You're popular. Okay? You got to appreciate where this world's going. And now, this was, let's say, 20 years ago, with the advent of the internet, and everybody's so connected and things are so loose, it's just going forward and forward, and the snake's having a good time. Because instead of a man and a woman coming together, everybody's coming together. Okay, instead of it being holy, it's anything but holy. Okay, so there's so much misconception about the men and women together, but you have to appreciate that it's all caused by the snake and the hater. Okay, and instead of hating the player, the snake has to hate the game. Go get your own wife. You also become holy. Okay, a lot of times what happens is like a husband and a wife. There's somebody on the outside trying to cause strife between them. Oh, your husband doesn't bring you flowers. Oh, this guy doesn't do that for you. Oh, or conversely, like the woman's, they try, a snake could come in the form of a man, it could come in the form of a woman, right? Sometimes the woman says, oh, your wife doesn't treat you so well, and that kind of involvement, right? An instigator, right? They're the haters, okay? They're hating the player, and so instead of hating the player, they should hate the game, and play the game, just play it better than everybody else. But the problem is they don't understand the game. That's why if you go look at my first video ever was, it's called The Game of Life. The game of life is what we're actually doing here. And you want to win at the game of life. The problem is people don't know they're in some kind of program, some kind of thing. That you ask them what the meaning of life is. I don't know, to be happy. I don't know. Everybody has their own interpretation. As if there is no God, no creation, no purpose, and anybody can make up whatever they want. So they listen to this guru or that online guy or that, instead of like going to our source, which is God, and finding out what's true and then living by it. Okay? Now, someone asked a question about before Shabbat. Okay, usually before Shabbat, what happens? Okay, right before Shabbat, the whole world starts exploding. Everything that can go wrong will go wrong Erev Shabbat, right? Like right before Shabbat, and there's a reason for it. Okay, there's a reason for it. If you look at the Torah, you have to appreciate that Adam and Chava were created Erev Shabbat.
Yeah.
Okay, since they were created Erev Shabbat, and the snake wants to cause trouble and he wants to hate, right? He wants to hate the player. Okay, so what happens every Friday, right? Every Erev Shabbat, the snake comes and tries to not have it. Now, if Adam and Chava were to wait to Shabbat to be together, we wouldn't be in this world. Okay, the unification would have happened on Shabbat, and happening on Shabbat, everything would have been fixed. But because they didn't wait, they had it before, and the snake got in the middle, and all that stuff. That's why we have to go through these 6,000 years and fix what we need to fix. Okay,
exactly. In houses that really follow the Torah more and do Shabbat and all that, right? It's not gonna. I mean, the craziness.
It can happen less if you prepare for it. If you have everything ready, if you know it's coming, If you do everything the last second,
that's it.
craziness happens all over the place. Okay, so if you prepare for it, you know it's coming. You know, if your husband throws you a word or your wife throws you a word and says, why don't you do this, why don't you do that? It's that time. It's that time. Okay, I'm not gonna say anything back. Okay, I'm gonna hold myself. Right? It's that time. Okay. So if you're prepared for it, you know what's gonna happen.
Yes.
Okay. I think some guy just came out with a quote. I'm into football, so there's a football player named Peyton Manning. So they asked him, well, were you ever nervous before a game or anything like that? He says, if you're well prepared, you're never nervous. Okay, so if you're well prepared, you know this is coming. You know how to act before it actually comes.
What about if you ask your son to go to take a shower till the last minute?
Yeah, I was gonna ask that. They wait.
You let them dirty.
Let's say lighting candles.
They cannot
By
take a
me,
shower on
lighting
Shabbat.
candles.
Not in my house.
Does everyone is
Bound to
has
keep
to
Shabbat.
accept Shabbat at that
No.
time?
No. Accepting Shabbat has to come before Shkia. Shkia is when the sun comes down. You have to accept Shabbat before that
Okay,
time.
but when I
Okay?
light the
It doesn't
candles-
matter when you light or you don't light. Okay? As soon as a person says, Areni mekabeh alayit Shabbat, I accept unto me the Shabbat, that's it. They're done. They're not allowed to do anything else. Okay? So it's just the
But you have
simple
to light.
fact. You don't have to do any action.
What do you-
Okay? It's become accustomed to accept it when we light, but you don't have to do it then. Okay? So let's say you didn't
can
have
light
candles.
after?
Listen, let's say you didn't have candles on whatever Shabbat for whatever reason. Okay?
Oh.
When does Shabbat come in? So it comes in either at sundown, no matter what you say, or it could be, several minutes before. Okay? And just by the fact of you saying, I'm taking now on Shabbat. Okay? You just say that and it comes in and that's it. You don't have to do anything. Now there's a thing, it's a mitzvah to add on from the secular time. Okay, it's called chol in Hebrew. Le kodesh. Kodesh is Shabbat. Holiness is Shabbat. There's a mitzvah to add on. So as much time you can take on before, it's good. It's good for your soul. It's good for the world. It's good for holiness and everything
I
like
could
that.
take it on and not the rest of the.
And not the rest of the family. Exactly. Every individual takes it on for themselves. You don't take it on for other people. Okay? Every
So
individual
I
takes
could
it on for
light
themselves.
before, let's say 10, 15 minutes before, and then they light after. I mean, still in the same.
I think it's
You have to light before
Yeah,
sundown.
before, but
Before sundown.
can they light after me?
Yeah, because
Still
every
before.
individual takes on Shabbat for themselves. You don't take it on for anybody else.
Girls that are not married do the prayer for.
I think people don't do it.
They can. It's just it complicates things. So they don't need to.
Okay,
What do you mean
They
you
don't need to.
complicate things?
because you should
What's
married
that?
to-
What do you mean you complicate?
So if there's extra light, the purpose of Shabbat candles is that there should be light by the meal, okay? But we have light anyway, we have light by the meal. So why do we light it? So you see, it's also a spiritual thing. Now, if you have light already there, okay, you don't need extra lights. So why is that person lighting extra lights? Okay, so for that reason, some people say to light it without a bracha. Okay, so that's what I said. If the mom lights, the girl wants to light too, she should do it without a bracha. Okay, so it's just extra light bringing into the world.
But
It's
does
not
she need to stand by you? No, do you hear the bracha? No?
doesn't need it. Okay,
Okay.
And you light a candle for each member of the family, or this is also tradition?
yeah, it's everything's tradition. The minimum is one light. Okay, we the custom all over the world is to do two lights. One against Zachor, one against Shamol. Right? There's two mitzvahs in the Torah. There's a mitzvah, right, to keep the Shabbat, and there's a mitzvah to remember the Shabbat. So for two of them, the whole world normally does two. But some people have a custom to do 5. Some people have to do 7. So 5 can be the part of the person's soul. A person has 5 parts of their soul, so they do it against that. Okay, everybody has a different custom. It doesn't matter. Okay,
It's not even
we do this, they do that. It doesn't matter. It's stuff you shouldn't fight about, shouldn't argue about. It's all good. 7 is, you understand now why 7, right? The
I don't
7.
even know. I just do 7.
Right, but now you understand
Very
because you have the system. You understand that the 6 lower ones and the 7th one. Okay? So everything is to fix that system. That system was broken. Remember, those channels were broken. So everything we do in the world is to fix that system. That's why we have 7 days of the week. God could have made it 10 days of the week. Right? He could have spun the world differently. Put the sun in a different place. Why did he do 7? Okay, everything is on 7. 7, 7, 7. It's always 7 because we have to fix the 7. Okay? In reality, if you remember our first classes, we fixed the 6, the 6,000 years, and God fixed the 7. Okay? Our work ends after 6,000. Yeah? Understood? Okay. Some other thing we talked about was what sex does the baby come out? Like, can you have an effect on the sex of the baby? Okay. In general, you can't do nothing.
You what?
You can't do nothing. If God wants you to have 6 girls and 1 boy, 6 girls and no boys, 7 boys and 1 girl, that's what's going to happen. Okay. He's going to make you mess up. He's going to make you think something else. He's going to make whatever he wants to come into the world is going to come into the world. Okay. But the way he works, the way it works is that if a man, gives his seed over to a woman first, then they're going to have a girl. And if she gives over the seed first, before he does, they're going to have a boy. Okay? That's the general workings. That's how it
It's not a
works.
fact.
It's a fact.
Some people, I know some,
It's a fact. We have no idea. We have no idea what really happened. We're not there. We can't see. We don't have microscopes. We don't have telescopes. Okay, but if the Torah says it, it's a fact. Okay, so if you, after the fact, you see you have a girl, you know what happened. You have a boy, you know what happened. How it happened, when it happened, this time, that time, it doesn't matter.
Someone fixed.
Now, what's very important to know that it's very important, like what a person thinks when they're having these relations, right? So remember, the snake, it comes in all different forms. It could come as other people, but it could come into your head too. Okay? Any movies you watched, any people you looked at during the day, right? So there's a prohibition of imagining other people while you're with your husband or wife. Okay? There's a prohibition. Now, all the prohibitions in the relations is because it has an effect on the kid. Okay? How does it have an effect on the kid? The seed of both the man and the woman starts in their brain. Okay? They have the right brain, they have a left brain, and a middle brain. Okay? That middle brain is connected to their spine. Okay, so the seed starts in their brain and it travels down their spine and it comes out in the place that it comes out. Okay, so whatever a person's thinking is going to have an effect on their seed.
that's what
Okay.
there's prayers before you.
Right, there's prayers. We try to be as holy as possible. We try to do it in the middle of the night, not in the beginning when you're just talking. We were with people. We try to do it at certain times to make it as holy as possible. So how does it have an effect on the kid? So anything that's white in the body, like the bones, like the muscles, the eyes, they come from the father. The father implants into the kid, and whatever's red comes from the mother. Okay, so like the skin, the hair, the blood, everything comes from the mother. Okay, and together.
She has her dad's hair.
You can listen. Anything can happen, but I'm saying in general, that's how it works. Okay, there could be a combination, a little bit here, a little bit there when it combines, but and then God gives the soul. Okay, and that's why it's the biggest proof of life
When
because
does the soul goes in the soul?
What?
The soul. When does it go inside the womb? When does it go in?
as soon as the
I heard it's
right away.
when the baby comes out.
No.
Because
Definitely
that's why
before.
when they come out, they don't cry. Then they start crying because
No, definitely before. Okay, when it forms, when it comes together, that's
there's
when
a soul. Right? The whole
there's
pregnancy,
a soul. There's a
inside.
soul. Yes,
Oh,
yes.
wow.
Okay, because we know that the baby's inside the stomach learning the whole Torah. Okay? So obviously there's a soul.
So why there's miscarriages?
So miscarriages is for whatever reason, God doesn't want that baby, that kid to come into the world. Okay? And, that's it. It's not.
So why they come?
Why what?
Why?
They're not coming.
They're not coming. It's a miscarriage.
So, yeah, but the soul came
Why
down.
is it formed? That's
Why
what
did it
she's
come down
asking.
for
Why
2
is it
months
formed?
or 3 months or 4 months?
So you have to appreciate that the whole purpose of life is to get all the souls to the next world. Right? It's a very big concept. All the souls have to go to the next world and to get the enjoyment. Some have to suffer. Some have to go through a journey and learn something. Okay? Every soul has something to do, something to complete. Okay? And that soul that's what they had to do. They have to go there for a few months, die, go back. That journey for that soul, that's what needs to happen. So it's not something like a parent should take personally, get sad about or anything like that. They should have complete confidence and faith in God, that's what God wanted. Okay?
Are we all here when we're pregnant or not?
Are we all?
All here? Like more
A
holy? or-
holy.
Are you holier?
Yeah.
So it says that the woman, there's like a shine that comes onto her face and that kind of.
Is that why when you're pregnant, like I don't know if it's only me, but every single pregnancy I had this weirdest dream that I couldn't even imagine in reality, Like is that normal? Is that the snake trying to put
Yeah, you have to ask other women if it's normal. I don't know.
No, I had the things.
but
Ending a
everyone-
pregnancy.
Yeah, that's ending a pregnancy is not allowed.
Okay.
It's murder, and it's only allowed if the baby is about to kill the mother.
No, just because you don't
Just
want it
because
to.
you don't want it, no, it's murder, and it's a very, very stiff fine.
So how you clean yourself?
Let's
from
say,
that?
the couple is not good together and she doesn't want another one. And
It doesn't
How you
matter.
clean yourself up? What do
Sex,
you do?
sex is holy. It's not a game.
so when this person terminates the pregnancy, is that Hashem's plan too?
Yes.
So then,
Then what? You are commanded to do certain things.
yeah, but
God will use you to do whatever He needs to do in the world. Remember, it's both things at the same time.
it's like you're.
It's both things at the same time. That soul deserved death. Okay? You were the agent to kill it.
Yeah.
But I'm still committing murder.
Yes.
Yes.
So,
Not fair,
Sorry.
Yeah,
no, I mean, I'm not
she's
talking
right.
from
In some
here.
terms, she's
Sorry.
I would
That's
never-
just the way it is. That's
This
just.
is.
like why is it?
אז איך מנקים את הדבר הזה?
How do you do
clean up?
tshuva?
Hashem
Well, first off,
wants you to do this.
First off, you have to do tshuva. The way you do tshuva is obviously you confess in
You
front of
can still
God.
do-
You don't do it again. You regret what you did, and you make a vow never to do it again, right? That's tshuva. That's so you don't get.
So if you never
that's-
do it again, then this person has to take contraception.
No, you never kill again.
Well, you never get pregnant again.
No.
No, that's not what he said.
Remember what we said in the beginning. Any kind of blockage is the hater hating
Right.
the game,
The opposite. You get
right?
it,
Hey,
and
sorry,
then
it's
this
not.
is what-
It's not the hater
Our
hating the
purpose is to
game.
multiply.
Yeah,
It's
but she's
it's
not-
not
she's not doing
it's
it.
not the hater hating the game. It's the hater hating the player, right?
Ask him.
She asked him.
So then why do so many people get the heter for birth control if it's
Yeah, don't listen to that. That's,
everyone?
yes, don't listen to it.
So all the rabbis are not.
Yes, don't listen to it. They don't know.
But
Listen,
it's the situation of the family too.
there's no
No,
situation.
no, yes, there is situation of the family.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you really have
A woman
faith
not
and
feeling
believe,
well.
That's it, תשובה.
look,
אז היא
לעשות
תמות.
את זה. לקחת על עצמך לעשות את זה.
4 years I wanted another kid. He didn't want. He didn't want them.
מה, רק חטאתי פשעתי זהו?
Okay, so you have to distinguish
Oh, you did
between
it.
doing tshuva and cleaning the sin.
תקשיבי, cleaning.
Okay, guys.
Cleaning, listen, this is important.
There's doing tshuva. Tshuva is staying away from what you did, and then it's called kapara. Kapara is how to clean up the sin. Okay, clean up the sin. There's suffering the person has to go through.
What?
Okay, what's that?
הבנת?
There's suffering that a person needs to go through.
The person that's
That committed the sin, sure,
How
to
is-
clean it up. every sin is different. You know, some people have to suffer
by
with
doing
their.
this,
By
Some
doing
people
this,
have to
you're talking
suffer.
about that.
Some
You're
people
talking
have to
about-
suffer with their money. Some people have to suffer with their body. Some people have to suffer with their soul. Okay, suffering has to come to clean up the mess that they made.
So what, you
Okay.
wait till it comes?
Well, you could be proactive. Like the Kabbalists now, it's time. It's called Shovevim.
Yeah, I do.
These weeks right now between Shmot and Mishpatim, the Kabbalists, what they do is they preempt any problems, you know, that they may have done. Sorry, they fix anything that they may have done, or in this lifetime or in a previous reincarnation. Okay, and they take sufferings willingly on themselves. So they fast, they give tzedakah, they wear certain garments that poke them and like inflict pain around their stomach area. They roll around in snow.
You're allowed to do
They
that?
do, yes. You could bring afflictions on yourself in order to, you know, preempt anything bad, catastrophic happening, or that kind of stuff.
But they said that in our generation, we're not supposed to fast this period of time.
I don't know
You
who
can
says.
do that tefillah. You can
I
do
don't know who says anything. This is what Torah says.
it's
okay.
in the Torah.
No, it's not in the Torah. The Torah says
What do
to
you mean
fast
just for no reason?
This generation, we have to pray more
when
than
things
that.
when things
Tefillah more than
when things come, the Torah says what to do. Okay, when bad things happen, it says to
How's
fast.
it going?
Okay, there's no such thing. This generation, that generation. There's no such thing. This generation, that generation. The Torah is for every generation, for all times. Okay, people want to change it, to amend it. They're playing around with fire that they don't really understand what the ramifications are. They may help you, like, you know, they think they're making it easier on you, but they don't know the spiritual ramifications of what they're doing. Okay, so they make it easy on a person. It looks easier, but in the long run, they don't know what the person's going to have to go through in 10 years from now, 15 years from now, 20 years from now. Okay,
But
so
you agree that people don't follow anything, they're not going to start fasting. Even though if they start with the pain first, and then they're going to go to the process of fasting.
spirituality-
They're gonna fast on the Shovavim right away.
Spirituality is like a sport. Okay, you ramp up. Okay,
Like
you don't
tefillah,
jump
and then
up.
you
No. You don't jump up in one shot. Okay, you ramp up.
Right.
Okay, you work yourself up. But you don't destroy the Torah in order to ramp up.
No,
You don't say,
you
"Oh,
don't.
we don't need to fast because this generation is different."
No,
Right?
you're starting with
You
different-
still fast on
you
Yom
are
Kippur,
not.
right? You still fast on Yom Kippur,
Some
right?
people not.
Not,
Okay,
Now we
okay.
are. I'm talking about somebody else.
Listen. The Torah says to fast on Yom Kippur.
But
You
then
have to fast. Listen. The Torah says you have to fast. It's not negotiation. Okay.
Now it does. With
Rabbis,
other people,
it
yes.
doesn't matter. No, it's with nobody unless you're sick. Okay, and you're gonna die. Okay, you have to fast. There's not a negotiation on how spiritual you are or how spiritual you're not.
We know
Okay,
that.
on Tisha B'Av, you have to fast. It's not a negotiation. Okay, Asara B'Tevet, you have to fast. It's not a negotiation. Okay, any rabbis that tell you it's a negotiation, this generation.
We know that, but the other people don't know that.
It doesn't matter. I'm just
Exactly,
telling you.
that's
I'm
not
telling
your
you a
problem.
general rule.
They don't
Okay.
keep Shabbat, so you're going to tell them to fast?
I'm telling you a general rule, okay, that spirituality doesn't change. From the time the Torah was given to now, to the end of 6,000 years, it's not going to change. Anybody who says it changes is wrong, okay? Now, I told you have to get used to it, right? You don't start off jumping from one end to the other, okay? I don't eat much, so for me it's easier to fast. But does that mean I'm more spiritual than the next guy? No, I'm just not used to eating, so it doesn't matter. I could take more hours. I could take more hours of not eating. Okay, every individual is different. Okay, but the general idea is to you take on afflictions onto yourself, so you don't wait for these things to happen to a person. Right? A person, just a second, I'll finish, and then a person could lose some money. Oh, why did this happen to me? Why did this? Right? It happened for a reason. A person could get a scratch on their hand. They get too close to the stove. They burn themselves, right? Why did this happen to me? There's a reason for everything happened to them. So you can bring those things on before, and then you don't have to go through it later. For
Really?
instance, you could go to the gym, lift weights, okay? It's going to burn the next day, okay? You'll get healthier, and you'll get spiritually healthier, okay? Because you're cleaning yourself, right? You're cleaning yourself,
Really?
and you get stronger, sure.
Yeah?
Yes.
Spiritually? How? Why spiritually?
Because spiritually, you're going to be hurting, right? That pain is going to wipe away
It works for
any
that?
sins. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not? Any pain.
Going to the gym, huh?
That's great.
Any pain.
So
Right?
I
So they're just giving you an ideas.
spilled my coffee 3 times this week.
Great. You should be dancing in the streets.
And every time I think about this, since the class, okay.
Exactly.
And I'm rushing
You should.
in the car.
You should be happy. You should be like, yes.
Okay.
I hope one day she's not gonna cause somebody in the shoe.
There's a limited list. There's a limited list according to the different actions that you did. It's not a complete list, but
No.
you can ask me after the show. I can look for give you sources of what is against what.
Wow, so that's cool.
Yes, the Torah is very cool. Right? The Torah is the player, right? And the game. And the Yetzer Hara is the hater, right? Anybody who says the Torah is not cool is the hater. The secular world, the Goyim, say the Torah is not cool, they're the haters.
One time I
They're the
spilled my
snakes.
salad, my bowl of salad on the floor, and I said it's all good, maybe something.
In Israel, they say all the time, kaparat avonot.
Yes.
Right? This is the cleaning of the
I said
avirot.
maybe there was a bug in that plate
Yeah,
in the salad.
possible.
Yeah,
That I was
know.
safe from. So I look at it every time.
Exactly.
Different.
Exactly. So now, what could bother you in the world? If everything is a kaparat avonot, what could bother you? The mosquito comes and bit you. It hurts. It's scratching. Can that bother me? No. If I know it's for,
I look at it
if it's a cleansing. So what's gonna bother me?
every pain.
Every pain is a cleansing.
Cleansing.
Right? Every pain is a cleansing. Now, it could be a cleansing, or it could be trying to prevent you from doing something bad. Okay, you were going to go do bad with that car, and then something crossed the road, and you, God forbid, something happened to your car, right? Because you were going to go someplace you shouldn't have been going to go. Okay, so sometimes from heaven, they don't want a person doing a sin, so they'll stop him from doing it. Okay, but the person won't realize it. They think they're trying to live their life, and they don't know what happened to them. They think it's just bad luck and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so it's either for a transgression that they did, that they're supposed to be cleaning, or a reincarnation that they need that cleaning, or God is trying to prevent them from doing something bad. Okay? Again, we're just trying to understand the way God runs the world, right? The way of God, right? It's the way of God. God told us how he runs the world. We can either listen and understand everything, or throw it out. I don't know why things happen, and God has his plan, and we just have to accept it, and we have to have faith, and all that stuff, right? I prefer to be the person who understands it. God wants us to understand it. That's why he revealed it to us. If he didn't want us to understand it, he would never have said anything and never revealed it to us, okay? Because again, if you remember, one of the reasons, in our first original chart was to recognize God's names. Right? God created the world for us to recognize him. If we know the plan, we can recognize him a lot better than if we don't know the plan. Right? If we think things just happen randomly, right? Or because God's plan and we don't know why and that kind of stuff, it's cutting out the middleman, right? Without understanding the steps, So it's like if you have a kid or you were in school and the teacher wanted you to show the work, okay? When you had a long division problem. You knew the answer in your head, but the teacher wanted you to show the work. Why?
To make sure you understand.
Well, you could understand and you could memorize the answer and know everything, okay? But there's something beautiful in the process. Okay? There's something really beautiful in the process. So God wants us to see the whole process and to understand the whole process. Not to just, it's all God, it's all God, it's all God. And just like close your mind. Okay? That's not why he created the world. That's not why he made everything beautiful. That's not why he runs the course of history and the events. Okay, that's not why he created the mountains and the sky and the sun. Okay, he wants us to understand the world. And the more we understand it, the better, more fulfilling our lives will be. Okay? And obviously we're going to go to the next world and get even more enjoyment in that manner. Understood? Yeah. Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank God I'm alive. Thank God I can hear. Okay, another thing we said was that there's certain positions that the man and the woman should be and do when they have the relations, right? Again, everything the parents do, they're going to have an effect on the kids. Okay, that's one of the Kabbalistic reasons why the kids have to honor the parents. What people don't understand is that, my dad gave me my bones, my mom gave me my skin. That's it. That was an event that happened 40 years ago, 50 years ago, 60 years ago, 20 years ago. It doesn't matter for today. It's not true. The energy that's in your hands, right, or in your whole body is still coming from the parents. Meaning you're connected to your parents spiritually to this day. Okay? The energy you have in your body is from them. Constantly. It didn't stop. It didn't stop when you were created and you left your mother's stomach. It's constantly being infused into you. If it were to stop, you would die. Okay? So that's the spiritual reason on top of the other ones that you have to honor your parents. Okay? Because the livelihood of your body is coming from them constantly. Yeah, it doesn't end. So, what the parents are thinking at the time of conception, the time they're together, is going to have effect on the kid. So, the positions that they're supposed to be, the ideal position is the man's on top and the woman's on the bottom. Okay? And why is that? It's because he's supposed to look at where he came from, which is the ground. Adam comes from Adama, right? The word Adama is from the ground, because from the ground he was created. Okay, so man needs to look to where he came from to humble himself. Okay, and the woman has to look to where she came from. She came from the man, right? God split them, took the rib out, split them in half. So she came from him. Okay, so that's why she's on the bottom looking at him, and he's on the top looking on the ground. That's the holiest. That's the way to do it. Now we said that, in theory, they can do whatever they want. Okay, in the bedroom, as long as the finishing act, right, the act of, giving the seed over happens when he's in her normal place, right? It has to go into that normal place. If it goes anywhere else, it's considered spilling seed. Okay, it's the hater coming to stop the player. Okay, so it has to happen in that spot. But the Kabbalist teaches that any place there's light, there's not allowed to be light in the room. Okay, light is analogous to the Yetzirah. It's the hater again. Okay, so any light is giving power to the evil forces. So it should be as dark as possible and covered up. Okay, the more they're covered up, the darker it is, the more holy it is. For this reasons. Now, there's times that are ideal for drawing like the holier neshamot, right? The holier neshamot come at certain times. So on Shabbat, after Chatzot, Chatzot is midnight, okay? If a couple conceives after that time, they're gonna have the holiest neshama come down, okay? The holiest soul, that's what they're gonna draw down onto their kid. And obviously what the mother was thinking, what the father was thinking, if that was the mikvah night, it's even higher. Okay? Mikvah night is the highest. After Chatzot, after midnight, any day of the week, let's start on Shabbat. On Shabbat, after Chatzot, after midnight, it's the holiest soul. Second down to that is before midnight, on Shabbat. Okay? Again, a holy soul. Going down less than that is during the week after midnight, after Chatzot, and The lowest is during the night before Chatzot, on a regular weeknight. During the day, not supposed to be together. Okay, and that's pretty much the times that you're gonna have. Yeah, asur bayom. Right, you shouldn't be doing it during the day.
No, we didn't know. Now we change it.
Thank God. Okay. I don't know. You didn't grow up with G.I. Joe. I grew up with G.I. Joe, right? He said, now I know, and knowing is half the battle.
We thought that Shabbat is very early.
Friday night.
So.
After
We didn't know.
Right.
And mikveh before or after chatzot is the same. It's holy. It's holy.
Right. Well, no. Mikveh night is very holy. After chatzot is much better than before chatzot, obviously.
Always the same.
Okay, but mikveh is holier than just any other time.
In any time after the mikveh or after the midnight.
No, the night of the mikveh is holier than any other than a time without a mikveh. Okay, so mikveh is the holiest. Okay, obviously mikveh and Shabbat after midnight is the holiest of the holiest.
What about mikveh regular day? It doesn't mean anything with the time.
It does. It's holy
after midnight.
After midnight. It's holier than before midnight. Okay, and mikveh night is holier than just a regular night.
אבל במקווה עצמו גם אפשר צריך לחכות midnight? גם באותו יום של המקווה.
It's good, yeah, it's better
So women
to
that don't
wait.
go to the mikvah.
Well, right, so women don't go to the mikveh. What's going on? There's the hater.
have kids.
The hater is coming into the player. He's stopping the player. Again, we're talking holiness. What happened to the kids? So the parents are drawing down not holiness onto those kids. Okay?
What's special about
Impurity. What?
What's special about those kids?
So they're more. It's easier for them. It's easier for them to be spiritual. They have less of a block. Okay, they have less of a block. Now, a person shouldn't get too discouraged because, like this, it says the Arizal explains how could it be that Avraham, right? Avraham Avinu, right? He's the forefather of all of the Jews. He's the holy of holies. He came from a union of two people who weren't Jewish. They were idol worshippers. And the mother was Nida that night.
Wow.
Okay? So all of the things that you could possibly imagine are no good produces something that's amazing in the world. How did that happen? So the Arizal explains that Kadosh Baruch Hu wants to trick, so to speak, the hater, the Yetzer Hara. Okay, so how does he do this? He throws him a bone, and then, once the Yetzer Hara has a bone, he can bring the Kedusha into the world. Okay, the same story happened in Kriyat Yam Suf when God split the sea for the Jewish people. Okay, there was at that time a lot of, we couldn't see it, but spiritually there was a lot of called kitrug. Kitrug is like a prosecutor saying that the Jews shouldn't be allowed to cross. Why shouldn't the Jews be allowed to cross? They don't have any merits. Why? They used to in Egypt they used to serve idols. Right? So the prosecutor was like, what's the difference between the Jews and the Egyptians? These guys serve idols and these guys serve idols. Right? So what did God do? At that time, he threw the prosecutor a bone. Who was that bone? The Zohar says that bone was Job. If anybody knows anything about Yov, right? It's a whole story. It's one of the books of the Tanakh. And Yov was supposedly a righteous man, but because of a different reincarnation, he had to suffer a lot. So God tested him. So he went to the prosecutor and says, hey, leave the Jews alone. Go deal with the Yov. Go test the Yov. Okay? So because God threw, the prosecutor a bone, the Jews could cross the sea and be safe from the Egyptians. Okay? And that's how God uses the world to work. If you notice, it says in the Shulchan Aruch, Mayim Achronim Chova. Mayim Achronim was instituted. Mayim Achronim was instituted, right? After a meal, a person's supposed to wash their hands, pour a little bit of water on their hands. Why? Originally, they used to eat with Sodom salt. Sodom salt was very strong, and if you got it into your eye, you could become blind. Okay? So the original decree is after you finish your meal, you have to wash your hands. Mayim Achronim Chova. Okay? You have to wash your hands. That was the original decree. So a person may say, well, now I don't use that kind of salt, right? I could put salt in my eye and it'll burn for a little bit, but I won't become blind, so I don't need to do it, right? The Kabbalah teaches differently. The mayim achronim that we give off is, it goes to the Yetzirah. It goes to that prosecuting angel, and so we can go bless God. So we give him a little bit, and we can go bless God.
Every time
Okay.
after a meal?
Yeah.
Every time after a meal?
Every time after a bread meal.
Bread, yeah. One, okay,
Yes.
so when you do-
Yes, and that's why the Shulchan Aruch says mayim achronim chova. Okay, it's not a negotiation. Some people think it's a negotiation. I can, they originally instituted because of this, and introduced it because of that, and now because. When you know Kabbalah, when you know the way the spiritual world works, there's no negotiation. This is what's going on right now. I want to be the most holy, and this is what's going on, and this is why I do it. Huh?
צריך לעשות גם ככה, נכון?
You can, you don't have to. Okay.
מה זה זה?
Don't worry about it. Some people say you like after you do it, you should wipe a little bit on your mouth. It's not a big deal.
Teach
Okay.
her new stuff.
Huh?
Teach her new stuff.
They all
She
get
don't
mad
do
at
enough.
me. They don't. They
Of
get
course,
mad
she
at
doesn't
me.
do enough. Right? If anybody wants to really become religious, they take a book. It's called the Shulchan Aruch. Right?
נכון?
There's
זה מה שהתכוונתי מקודם להגיד לך.
there's a book. It's even easier. It's called Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. Right? And you go through it and you follow what it says, because how else would you know how to be a Jew? Like it's not something that's born into us to know what to do.
I did,
It's not. It's hang on a second. It's not. You're not born with. You're not born with being a Jew. Okay, guys, listen. You're not born with being a Jew. It's not something you pick up in the air, smell it. Okay, you can pick up a lot by observing other people. Okay, but you're never really gonna know until you open up the book and start learning what to do.
You have to teach us then. Because I can't
Shulchan
learn it by
Aruch is very
myself.
hard.
No.
It's very hard. It's very hard.
It's not very hard. You just
Yes.
Just the law.
No, but
No.
it's very, very complicated.
guys, it's not very complicated. Okay,
Not at all.
think it is.
This book.
you just have to take it very easily. Right?
It's not.
השולחן ערוך אצלי גם
It took me
תקן.
4 days for the first paragraph in that book.
Thank you.
Which book?
Well,
Shulchan Aruch.
here's the thing.
4 days.
Okay, guys, you guys want to complain or do you want solutions?
I'm just talking.
Do you want to complain? Do you want to complain or do you want
I get
solutions?
up, no complaining, everything's beautiful.
So right now, I'm not talking about every morning. I'm talking about right now. Do you want to complain or do you want solutions?
I mean, I don't understand it.
Do you want complaints or do you want solutions?
Solutions. We want you to teach us.
Okay, so the solution is like this: you read you certainly speak Hebrew and you certainly know how to read in Hebrew. You read what it says. If you don't understand, you make notes and you go ask somebody that can teach you.
Like you.
Okay? Yes. There's 15,000 laws over there. I'm not going to sit there and teach you every single
Why
one.
not?
Okay? Because
No, some things you're gonna understand is right. Some things you understand, something that's a little
absolutely,
complicated.
absolutely,
Yeah.
sure.
You're right.
Sure.
So then you mark it
That's
out and you
right.
ask.
But it's
Exactly.
scary when you read it. And
No, you know what? You know what it is.
Yeah, you have to do what it says. Yeah, you have to
Yeah.
change your life. Yes, you're not gonna go from secular to religious and not change your life.
I'm doing ל"ט מלאכות and it's hard.
Yeah.
And it's hard, but every מלאכה it takes me forever to study and then I have to do it.
Right. So if you go to one of them, there's a book. There's like a children's book that shows you all that stuff,
Shabbat.
and it's very easy, and you see pictures. It
It
doesn't matter. She talked about and answered what she said. Okay. Okay, so you don't have to confuse yourself. There's tools today that are very easy, so make it keeping things easy. You just have to ask the right people.
When you decided to become religious, did you speak? I mean, obviously you probably read Hebrew, but did you speak and understood exactly everything or no? Or you had to go through the process of learning Hebrew first?
Okay, so
And
no,
then-
I grew up speaking Hebrew. Okay, I did not know how to read or write. I knew the alphabet. Okay, so anybody who tells me things are hard, I don't really believe them unless they don't even have Hebrew. Okay, because like just to read the prayers would take me 40 minutes every day. Something that takes now 5 minutes. Okay, you have to put in the work and get better at it and do it. Okay, but if someone says it's hard, it's all if you want to do it or you don't want to do it. Okay, everything's hard in the beginning, and then eventually it gets very easy, and boom, you pick it up and it just keeps going. And obviously God helps, right? God helps to a point where you wouldn't even believe how much He helps. Okay, I can tell you, like within a few months, something just clicked and everything started flowing.
Wow.
You think we can vote about this Kitzur Shulchan Aruch if you can teach us?
It's a lot, but you have to.
Sure, but it's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. There's so many things to
Like,
cover.
we can take a subject and
complaining?
learn by ourselves, and if we have questions, then we can.
Right, exactly.
לא יכול לגמור.
Exactly.
It's a lot
לאן
of
הוא
stuff.
הולך?
לא, every day?
It's freezing in here.
Right. If you want to learn every day, that's fine.
That's
You
okay.
want to learn once a week, you're not gonna get
I want
much.
to learn every day, yeah.
Okay,
And you
great.
know I don't.
Okay, very good.
Every day.
Yeah, that once a week is not enough.
All right. So that's basically the whole idea of the game. Now, if you look at the Torah, guys, if you look at the Torah,
Yeah.
it follows this pattern. Okay. Hevel v'Kain, Cain and Abel, right? Hevel's trying to do good. Cain gets upset, kills him. Right? Who's the player? Hevel. Who's the hater? Cain. Okay? Keep going. And there's Noach. Right? Noach wants to do good. Tries to tell the world to do good. They want to kill him. Who's the player? Noach. Who's the hater? The world. Okay? Keep going. Avram. Avram tells the world what to do. He has many haters. Okay? He has Nimrod. He has Avimelech. He has Paro. Right? Many haters along the way. Okay? The people trying to kill Lot. So they're the haters, obviously, and he's the player trying to play the game. The game is holiness. The hater is unholiness, secularness. Okay? Same thing with Yitzchak, same thing with Yaakov. Yaakov has many haters. Okay? The holier you are, the more haters you're going to get. Okay? So people think, oh, I just became religious. Everything's supposed to go smooth. Everything's fine. Be careful of those rabbis that tell you, if you just pray, if you just do this, everything will go great. Everything will be awesome. Okay? The holiest people had it the hardest, right? David HaMelech, right? The Mashiach, the original Mashiach, had it harder than anybody. If you look at Sefer Tehillim, if you look at his life, everything was difficult. It said he didn't have one night where he dreamt a good dream. Every night was a nightmare. Right? Why? To keep him on the right path, to keep him doing good.
That's what happened to people. They see the people that they're religious. They said, "What's so special about them? They're suffering all the time, you know. Like
Yeah, so
they don't get the parnasa ela. They don't understand that the bottom line they get in the nachat, and they all the and you."
Well, right. So what people think is that like religion is tips for life, guys. They think religion is tips for life. I'll go, I'll hear a few tips, I'll take you to my life, I'll do what, they think like they do whatever they want, take a few tips, they fix their life and everything goes smooth. They don't understand it's just a game of holiness or not holiness, right? That's all what's going on. And the holier you get, the closer you come to holiness, the more the Yetzer Hara is going to want to stop you, right? It says, when a person grows, the Yetzer Hara grows with him, right? The person that's up here is not the same person that's down here, right? The Yetzer Hara grew up with him. So there's a story in the Gemara when one rabbi saw a couple. They were walking in the night, okay, before the sun came up, and they went. Each one had to go a separate way. They said goodbye to each other, and they left. And the rabbi was following them to make sure they don't sin with each other. Man and woman. At night it's inappropriate. What's going on? So he thought maybe they're going to sin, and he would stop them. And when they split, he's like, oh, okay, great, thank God. He went to his rabbi and he says, oh man, I must be not holy. So the rabbi said, why do you think you're not holy? He said, because if I was that man, I would have sinned with that woman for sure. So he said, no, don't worry about it. It says, the gadol mechavero yitzor yoter gadol. Like the person, right, is higher than his friend. His Yetzer Hara, his evil inclination is higher. Okay, so the more you grow up in holiness, the more challenges you're going to have. Okay, so don't think, oh, I'm going to be holy now, everything's going to go great now. Okay, it doesn't work that way. Okay, you grow up. Avraham Avinu got 10 challenges, right? 10 challenges we know of, right? Every day is a challenge, right? There's a Rocky thing circulating. It's a movie, but he says like you think this world is all sunshine and rainbows, everything's going to be great, all that stuff. No, this world will beat you down if you let it. It'll destroy you.
There's a lot of people that were up and then went down.
And they crashed, right? They crashed.
And they just
Sure. That's why it says in the Torah, Al ta'amin be'atzmecha ad yom motcha. Don't believe in yourself until the day of your death. Until the day you're gone from this world, that's when you can believe yourself. Because the Yetzer Hara doesn't leave you. Your body doesn't leave. Remember, the game doesn't stop. Your soul and your body are constantly fighting. They don't
when
stop.
you die, he leave you alone?
Yeah. When you die, he leaves you alone. Okay?
No,
So-
when you need that. What do you say? When you need that, not when you die.
Yeah.
She said when you're in that.
No,
No,
when I
When you
die.
die.
Ah, sorry.
No, people, there's these people like they don't, not that they don't care, but they think nothing can bother them. Does it mean that their Yetzer Hara is not around them?
What do these people think?
Like not like you can tell them anything, it's not gonna bother them. They only look at the positive and everything,
Yeah, so they it's a way of thinking, but they're deluding themselves. Okay? Because you can look at the positive of everything, right? But there's negative in this world. Right? There's a negative charge and a positive charge. Okay? So, yeah, a tragedy happens. Was it a tragedy or was it a happy thing? Right? Do we say Mazel Tov when somebody dies?
No.
Right? We don't. Right. So it's a nice philosophy to have, to always look at the positive side of things, right? But if you take it for every single individual
like
thing
just
in
for
the
the
world,
negative stuff, like you don't let the negativity have any impact on you. So is that person?
well, obviously you should never let negativity to have an impact on you. Negativity comes from the hater, right? It comes from the Yetzer Hara, it comes from the other side, the evil side, the dark side of this world. And positivity comes from the good side, right? Positivity comes from the holy side. So obviously you want to be on the positive, on the holy side of things, right? That's what they mean, right? That they don't let negativity like get into their psyche, into their, tomorrow you're gonna have to get up and go to work and all that stuff. They don't let the negativity affect them to stop them from their mission. That's what they mean. Huh? Okay, is that it? Anybody else wants to ask anything? Any other questions? Okay, guys. Have a good night.
We'll have questions.